My family is a very ordinary Mexican family with traditional beliefs, especially when it comes from health issues. My family is not always dependent on doctors to help them with their problems. They usually do it the old-fashioned way, but not all the time these old-fashioned traditions will help them cure their health, and that's when they need a doctor to help them with their issues. In my family, we didn't really have any problems with health issues until one day everything changed. My grandfather was a very hardworking and very independent man. Everything had to go his way. Everything had to be perfect, and all the time he had to be right. But one thing that my grandfather had in his life that was very wrong for himself was that he was an alcoholic. He never thought that he was putting his life in danger. He always drank in the weekends and also during the week. Every time I used to see him, he always had a bottle of beer in his hands. My grandmother used to tell him to stop drinking, that it was very bad for himself and also to the family, but he never cared. He just cared for himself, not even for himself, because he knew that he was putting his life in danger. Until one day, he started to feel very bad. He started to feel a lot of pain, and he told my grandmother that he wasn't feeling well. So my grandmother suggested him to see a doctor, but he didn't want to. He just decided to stay home and let my grandmother cure him with the old Mexican traditions, with teas, mints, and all those Mexican goods. But as the days went by, my grandmother was noticing that he wasn't getting any better. By the time he was getting worse. My grandfather was getting very pale, skinny, and losing his strength. My grandmother then decided to talk to the rest of the family about the situation. My uncles and aunts were very angry on my grandmother because she wasn't forcing my grandfather on going to the doctor. But my grandmother told my family the situation that it was going on with him and not wanting to go and visit a doctor. So my family convinced him on going, and he did. But my grandfather was still very unhappy on this decision that my family was making him to do. He told my family, "¿Para qué ir si ya sé que voy a morir?" This means, why go if I know I'm going to die? My family was shocked on his negativity on his life. At the end, he decided to listen to my family and went to the doctor. While my grandparents were waiting for the results, my grandfather was very angry with my grandmother because she actually took the advice of my family. The doctor told him that he had liver cancer. My grandparents were very surprised of the results, especially when my family found out they were in a huge surprise. And that's when my family came into action. They started talking to doctors on what they can do. The doctors really wanted to help him, but he refused on everything. In the end, he finally listened, but it was too late because his cancer was already spread throughout his liver. He passed away on November 8, 1998, and on November 13, 1998, he was buried in Guasave, Sonora, where he was born and raised.